Welcome back to Infinite Sheep, everyone. Earl at thelogbook.com. Back with more tales of making radio and TV happen back when radio and TV were actually a local concern. Miss those days a lot. This is a really interesting little story behind this one spot because we had Okay, let me place this in time for you. When KFDF signed on, even before it was a UPN affiliate, we were living up to the promise of Sports 32, and one of the first things, really kind of the local crown jewel of KFDF, was a sports call-in show called The Huddle. It was hosted by Marty Houston and John Wilhelm, and it was live TV, baby. It was very low budget live TV, and somehow I wound up doing the technical direction on this, which basically that was like an AB switcher that later became an ABC switcher because we occasionally ran off of tape, a scoreboard. Other than that, it was very low tech, very, very no frills, almost cable access looking, to be quite honest. And the promotion of it kind of followed that same vibe. We wanted to. This was if I remember correctly, this was right about the time the ESPN Sports Center was starting to really veer off the standard sports promo path. And bless them for doing that, because it set the rest of us free who were tasked with having to do anything sports related. It's like, oh, we can do something funny. We can do something off the path. We can go kind of nuts with this. And so when asked to do a huddle spot, I managed to get some behind-the-scenes footage, which basically meant locking off the switcher to one camera or the other, and then leaving my booth and grabbing a camera and going into the studio to shoot some B-roll. So, we had some air check material, we had some B-roll, and make a spot out of it. So I decided, I am going to spoof like Sega Genesis commercials from back in the day, which the format of those was, their games, lame, our games, awesome. And then, someone pops up at the end and says, Sega! So, with all of that in mind, I brought in my Odyssey2, a video game console from 1978, with all the sports games on it, and did this.
Are you tired of all the sports commentary on TV? Does it all sound like a thing of the past? Try The Huddle weekdays at noon on KFDF TV UPN 3236 and Sports Radio 1580 and 1510.
It's Marty Houston, John Wilhelm, alongside. To get away from talking today, John? No. Those were certainly mistakes, I would think.
If other sports talk has you frustrated, tune in to The Huddle. Huddle! Right to your cable system today.
Okay, so the Odyssey2 games that you saw there included football, or as a friend of mine calls it, Madden 78, computer golf, which, by the way, if you don't already know this, if you've just come to my YouTube channel to watch this, I also do old video game stuff another day of the week, and so you could probably find videos about, at the very least, computer golf. I know has had a video devoted to it. But there were a couple of others. I spotted Quest for the Rings and Pickaxe Pete in there. And, of course, I had to show the golfer in computer golf hitting his ball into a tree and throwing a tantrum. This was an interesting way to spend a day at work. Hey, I'm going to bring in this old slab of the 70s, figure out how to interface it with broadcast equipment, which was not a thing you were supposed to be able to do. And if I remember correctly, the solution involved hooking the switch box for the game up to a consumer VCR and then running the video output of that VCR into one of our 3/4-inch U-matic decks and recording that footage. It didn't look great, but then that was the whole point of the spot. It wasn't supposed to look great. So, unfortunately, I maligned my beloved Odyssey2 and its software library to make it look like, this is what bad sports look like. And on the other hand, somehow the huddle is an improvement on that. I also noticed something else in there. There was a little animation that I had done in Lightwave for the Huddle logo that seemed very low res, like it was done without any anti-aliasing. Now, at first I was thinking, that probably meant I had to do it really fast. But then it occurred to me, okay, maybe actually I was going for that look because we're doing low-res pixels all over the place. And so, let me give Pass Me a little bit of credit there. I think that actually was the thought process.
Are you tired of all the sports commentary on TV? Does it all sound like a thing of the past? Try The Huddle weekdays at noon on KFDF-TV UPN 3236 and Sports Radio 1580 and 1510.
It's Marty Houston, John Wilhelm, alongside. To get away from talking today, John. No, those were certainly mistakes, I would think.
If other sports talk has you frustrated, tune in to The Huddle. Huddle! Right to your cable system today.
And I almost forgot to mention Burgess the Fitty Gibber. His cameo appearance. Instead of saying Sega, he's saying Huddle. Man, Burgess had quite the local broadcasting footprint between that and the Toys R Us sponsor billboard. He was just showing up everywhere, which, good. Everyone needs a little more Jump Cut City in their diet.